is a chilled episode today on Covenant Marriages. We're talking love, friendship, and marriage. You're most welcome. My name is Eunice.
And my name is Omo. And as Eunice says, friendship with your spouse. That's what we'll be discussing when we come back with our guest today, who have been married for 12 years. So don't go anywhere. Covenant Marriages will be right back.
Welcome back to Covenant Marriages. We are with the Sokunbis, who will be treating the topic friendship with your spouse. You're welcome to Covenant Marriages.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're delighted to have you.
We're delighted to be here.
Same here.
And you already looked really chilled, like friends.
We are.
You are friends. How long have you been friends?
14 years.
Yeah, 14 years.
14 years.
Okay.
Married for 12.
Wow.
Okay. We like our guests to always say how they met. So in your case, you give us a background in the friendship stage and the romantic stage.
Okay.
Okay, so like I always like to say, we met in church. We had joined the choir at the same time here at the Covenant Nation, and I was playing my keyboard,
JJ.
And I was singing JJ.
All these instrumentalists. Anyways, go ahead.
You know, and then from there we just hit it off. I don't think there was any...
I think, okay, so I always thought I was older than him. I just assumed he was a university undergraduate, and he was very quiet. He never used to talk to anyone during choir rehearsals. So I always used to look at him as someone who just needed like an older sister to mentor him, take care of him. So I think I noticed he wasn't around, I think during Christmas. So I asked after him, and I think the then choir master was like, oh, I just noticed this guy. And he was like, oh, how come? Why are you asking after? I just noticed that he always sits in a particular place. So I noticed he wasn't there.
He's a good person that you are.
Yes, as a good older sister.
Yes, amazing.
And when he finally came back after Christmas, I just asked after him, you know, I didn't see you. Yeah. And I think we were talking about, then I was interested in artificial intelligence.
What year was this?
This was 2009. Because then AI had just come out, and it was like, it will soon become the next big thing. And when he told me he was a computer scientist, I said, okay, do you know about artificial intelligence? And I think we started off with emails. Send me something about artificial intelligence via email. And somehow emails became phone calls.
Still around artificial intelligence or more?
I think after the email.
After the emails, other things came up. Health check came up.
Health check.
How's your tooth?
Yeah, he had the tooth extraction around that period.
Okay.
So I had an excuse to call and say, how was your tooth extraction?
Excuse to call.
I thought I was the one that noticed that, because, I mean, it's not supposed to be older sister. What's the excuse?
But that's how that
Sister.
sisters check up on.
Excuse me. So when she said excuse to call, what that means is that there is some falling somewhere. Some falling has begun.
Because, you know, you would, if you're just meeting someone, you wonder why is this person always on my case, you know, and all.
Okay.
But sincerely, at the beginning part, it was just somebody who I noticed was always very quiet and very reserved, and who I felt just needed someone to talk to.
Wow.
I'm sorry I'm laughing. I don't know why you're laughing. But the way she said it, as if, oh, this guy has issues.
But it was fun, actually. I mean, to be honest, I could be very laid back, and it was pleasant that somebody noticed I wasn't around, you know. And like you said, one thing led to the other, and here we are.
Second part of the question. So when did the romance, sparks, and all that begin? And I would like our viewer to know when the perception of younger brother changed. Abi, is it still younger brother?
No, it's not.
So I have a favorite story, right, that she doesn't agree with, right?
Fantastic.
But
We
I'm
like
going to
those
tell
kind
the
of
story
stories,
anyways. So after the, calls here and there and here and there, we went for a particular single summit. It was Faith Seminar Single Summit at
Single summit.
TBS.
TBS.
We had been talking over the, months and all that. And I could be very mischievous. So I played a prank. I just told her I was getting married the next
while
week.
Pastor was
While Pastor was preaching,
he paused.
we sat together, right? And I just said, oh, by the way, I'm getting married next week. And the look on her face, I will never forget it. She was like,
so
wow. And I'm like, it was just a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. But for me, that said so many things to me.
You wanted to test the water.
No,
I was actually playing a prank. I was just playing a prank. It started out as a prank, and then she just gave it all out. I'm like, oh, right.
You see, and I would always comment. This happens all the time. You see, what look was, we have been talking for the past 6 weeks. You never even mentioned there was a significant other in your life. So in my mind, it was like, I pity the person that is getting married to you. If I can be talking with this person for 6 weeks and you never even came up. Well, he feels that was the point. I gave it out that
green light.
I was interested. But really, I was shocked that day. Because I can't be hearing, this is someone I consider as, for the past 6 weeks, we have, as a younger brother that will talk to his elder sister, and then you just tell me you're getting married in 3 weeks. Anyway, I didn't forgive in a hurry. It took about a week because I was saying, was he joking? Was he not joking? So maybe a little part of me at that time was already like,
Thank God
passing the...
Thank you, you were. And today you are wearing green too, so green light, green light.
And and then from there, another significant thing that happened was she went on missionary trip to Sierra Leone from church, and then instead of her saving souls in Sierra Leone, she was saving the soul back here in Lagos.
We made international calls like. In fact, I think the leader...
16 hours a day.
Yes.
For 2 weeks.
I think the leader of the mission, actually, he called me and said, we don't recommend that newly married people come for missions. He asked me, are you newly married? I said, not really, but I have somebody that we are just... in the talking stage.
It's like marriage.
And it didn't seem, then international calls were a big deal, but it was like a necessity. And we got talking for the entire, I think it was 2 weeks that I was away in Sierra Leone. And then when I got back, we were supposed to, I think you...
Yeah, so when she got back, it was on a Sunday, February 15th. And I went to the airport, like a normal guy would do now. But they had changed her flight and she didn't tell me. So I was there at the airport waiting, Arik, and never came. And I went back home, and then she calls me around 5 p.m. that she was very upset that you didn't come to the airport. I'm like...
Because I just expected, you've been talking to this person for 2 weeks. You should have been at the airport.
But I was there, and then she found out that she didn't tell me that they had changed her flight and all that. So she drove back to where I was at that time, and that was the beginning of the relationship.
So she drove back to come and toast you, or what?
No, because I was very upset with him because I expected him to show up. I just felt it was just going to be like I maybe I wasn't even expecting a flower or something at Murtala Mohammed because it had been 2 intense weeks of talking. So I felt he was going to meet me at the airport, maybe pop the question or something, and I was upset. So by the time I called, I was already like, you didn't even come, and I was upset. So, and to think that he had been there all along waiting, I think he even left maybe like 2 hours after he was sure that every other person had come out. And I think they had changed the gates. Not only did they change the flights, they changed the gates. So I had already gone out, but maybe he was planning to surprise me, and Arik team.
Wow. you know, I think women, you play out things. You had already seen the end from the beginning. Considering that you've been talking for 16 hours for like 2 weeks, really, what's it remain again? Just pump this question. So let me ask, how was the proposal like before we go to marriage?
Proposal was at her friend's wedding reception. I could be very private, so I'd gathered all the liver I possibly could, and I think she was. Were you on the train or something?
Yes.
She was one of our very good friends.
Yes,
Anyways,
very
it
good
was in
friend,
Abeokuta.
Okay.
And
That was 9 months after this whole.
Because
we had been friends for 9 months.
And then
What was it you said? You just said
no,
it has to be you or something.
No, that was when I asked you out that it had to
Yes.
be you. Was
He
back
just said
then.
it has to be you. And that's
And you decoded.
You've been waiting for
He's
it.
an
now.
IT consultant, so he works with codes.
And then, you know, I summoned up courage at the wedding reception and I knelt down.
I thought he hurt his leg because the guy will never do that in public. So when he bent, I was like, oh my God, what happened? And
As a doctor,
And as a caring somebody.
Big sister, Abi.
no, we had
Big
changed
sister,
roles by
Paul.
then.
As in,
at this point, there was no big sister anything.
And I, you know, brought out the ring and she was staring and I was like, please, just collect this thing and let me stand up. People are watching and all that, you know. And people started clapping and she did collect the ring and then that's history.
See the smile on your face. I can see the light. Everything is just bright. Like the memory of that day. Yeah.
wow.
Amazing, amazing. Hey, can you tell that there is a friendship here? It's a beautiful one. I mean, we can't even stop them. We're supposed to be asking questions and stopping them, but it's so sweet. So please don't go anywhere. After this break, we'll delve deeper into the spousal friendship and how marriage has been. Covenant marriages. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Covenant Marriages. We are still with the Sokunbis discussing friendship with your spouse in marriage. Thank you, Sanma, for being here with us. So I recall you mentioned that when you got out of that flight and you didn't see him, you were disappointed, yet you called. Please, why exactly did you call?
Okay, so I think somewhere in my mind, I knew he was a good guy. And I think that was the expectation. So I think I called, I came out about 2, I didn't call until about 5. So I think I gave that period. So at a point, I was now worried because I expected he should be there. He wasn't there. So there was like, I was upset at that point. But by the time it was getting to 2 hours, 3 hours, then I became worried that there might be, I think it was a little part of me that said, I don't think this guy would not show up. So it was that concern that made me call. And I think it was one of the greatest decisions I have made, because if I hadn't called, he was there. He probably had been there for about 5 hours or something. So you can imagine making that kind of sacrifice. And then I just lock up. Maybe for next 1 week, I don't talk to him, I'm angry. Probably won't be here today.
True. I agree.
So did that call make a difference to you? Did it tell you? Because there's some trend she's been calling. She's just been the first person.
Oh yes, it made a difference, but most importantly was her decision to, she brought stuff for me, so
She brought, wait, you should not tell us that one. You brought some Sierra Leone.
brown slippers
Wow.
And
and a pack of Mars chocolates. I remember very well.
Wow.
It's in the pack, yeah, I remember.
And slippers had a funny smell.
Yeah, leather smell. But like I said, the most important was the decision to come after calling. You didn't show up. I'm like, I've been there. I only just got home and all that. And she felt very bad, you know. Yes. And then she came and then, sorry, And I don't even know when. It wasn't like I'd rehearsed it. It just came out and, you know what, it had to be you know. And then That was the beginning.
Oh, that was even when the...
Yes.
It had to be.
Yes.
What a pick-up
February-
line. My brother.
February
February
15th.
Learn from the master.
2011.
Pick-up line. It had to be you. No long thing. Let's go.
Okay, so do you want to add to?
Yes, I think that line made me feel very, well, I say wanted. It wasn't like I was, begging for this or something, and it was like it had to be. So it was reciprocal. So I mean, like modern day, you feel the person who called, the person who now came. But that it had to be you was like a note of finalities, like concluded that, see, you are the person. So probably I didn't now feel like it was me begging for this thing. It was mutual.
So it did strike a balance.
Oh, it did.
It had to be you? Is it a signature in cards or anything after?
It just came out. I don't think he planned it. Did you?
No.
No, so what I mean is, after you've
That's
been
how you
married,
name
is it
master.
like does it come up
so
as
we
a
laugh
as a
about
line?
we make
and-
reference to it from
Laugh
time
about
to
it.
time.
Yeah.
And it's like
And it can mean different things at different
At
times.
different
yeah.
times. So there are many seasons that has happened since that time.
Oh, yes.
And now you are in your home married. So this friendship, how has it been since marriage? You know how, yes, you people were single, one was apart, now you are married. How walk us through how friendship has been between the both of you.
Okay, so for me, right, I think the most important thing, and I must give credit to her, was you have to be deliberate about it. You have to take interest in what interests your spouse. And then you have to find common interest. So at that time for me, if I wasn't working, I just needed to watch football. And Arsenal to be precise, and then she didn't like football. But she made up her mind that she was going to watch football with me every time I did.
Wow.
And she did, but there was a condition attached to it. And that condition was that I had to watch African Magic, Yoruba, with her. Because she wanted to learn Yoruba at all cost.
Wow.
So Saturday mid-morning till like 8.
Sorry to pause you. So it is Dr. Sokunbis, but you are not actually Yoruba.
No, I'm
No,
Igbo.
she's Igbo.
What's your Igbo name?
Ogochukwu.
Okay, go ahead.
So we start the day out, we watch football, she ask all the questions and all that. And then in the evening, I have to fulfill my part of the bargain. We go and watch African Magic Yoruba. And then she's asking all the questions. What does this mean? So we had something that we both look forward to. And that was the real, building block for our friendship, And then we had till now we have a common interest. You can go to work from Monday to Saturday evening. See, Sunday, we go out swimming together. The kids are swimming on their own, but we spend at least 2 to 3 hours together in the pool, That's common interest. We enjoy that, just to spend.
He taught me.
Yeah, I taught how to swim, yeah. And then just to spend time together, and all that. Then communication is also key. Deliberately talk. I don't like to. I can be very quiet.
You don't like to talk.
Yeah, I can be very quiet. And then she's the exact opposite. She wants to talk all the time. So you then have to, I had to reevaluate what's important to her, what would, give us a common ground. And, one of the things that I thought about and I worked at, and I've seen it work in our marriage, was that you needed to get to a level where professionally now, if a patient calls her, I can pick the call and give them the exact same advice or answer the question that she would have. Yes. And that's happened many times in our marriage, and vice versa. And that comes from spending time together, just talking about everything and anything.
IT.
Yes, please.
So disclaimer, I don't treat on the phone. So
No. So I get, but you can. Are you saying you could give prescription or
no?
just?
So that's the thing. I don't treat on the phone. But he knows the answer. He knows what I would likely say. you know, the kind of advice that I will give. So it's not, it doesn't go into like deep core medicine, because generally I don't treat on the phone. So, but you know, go to the emergency room. Have you done this? You know, what exactly is
like
the stage?
first aid.
Yes. So I treat children. So he knows what kind of questions I would ask, you know, to just assess the severity and, you know, direct. So some people I'll be like, go to a major hospital, some go to somewhere around you. So that kind of thing. Because we spent a lot of time together. I mean, if we are packing up, like if we have a medical fair or anything, he can pack up the bags and say, take this, take that, have you picked this, have you picked that?
So it's
and
a doctor
this the vice versa that I'm interested in. So if you can code.
Not code.
See,
so it's not the nitty-gritty of the job, but you know, if you were to answer my call or respond to an email, I don't have any doubt without, you know, even talking about it. You know, you were in there and somebody called or this client called, I'm sure she would have
and
answered.
I proofread his emails.
All the time.
So
I see.
And proposals.
Yes. Pitches, all those things.
Excellent.
Wow.
So, Eunice, it's the way she has been laughing since.
They are friends now.
It's not, this one is not friendship. It's not just friendship. It's the gas that is going on every. Man, you're a good man. Well done, sir.
Yes.
Great. Let's talk about conflict resolution. Friends, definitely now. You people sometimes, it's not every time that the friendship will be friendshiping. As you grow older in marriage, sometimes people do fall apart. Who started off as friends? And so what are some things, especially tips for those who are watching, who might be in the stage of, I don't even like this, my friend, let him go.
So something Degole always used to tell me was I had, he would say my tolerance for him is very little. So there was a day he commented and said, you come back from work or you come back home and you say, this person did this to me, I just left the person, I just moved on. This person said this, I just freed the person. You know me, I don't like confrontation. But when it comes to me, every little thing,
Eunice,
I would get. So, and my response to him that day was, you are my life. I can't wish you away. So I was very careful not to say I'm stuck with you. No. So I said, this is my life. This is everything that makes me up. I need to enjoy it. So this is my, in medicine, there's something we call splicing. Like if there is like in the genetic makeup, if there is a mistake in the genetic makeup, you can splice out, remove some of those bad parts and repair the gene. So you have to splice off those things that make you unhappy so that you can make that perfect gene that will give you the fabric, the core of your home. So that's what I do. When I see things that I don't like, I can't say I don't like confrontation. I can't say I'll move on. What am I moving on to? This is as in I will move and move around and come back to that same thing. So I mean, it was a big conversation we had, but I guess he had, and that was not, it was into our marriage, maybe about 4 or 5 years. So it probably had been something he had noticed, because I don't like confrontation. I don't like, you know, arguing and all of that. With other people. So I'm sure he noticed that for him, it was different. But I had to so I think that's one thing that has really helped me, you know, realizing that this is my life. I can't run away from it, and trying to build that perfect, you know, that perfect cocoon where I would be happy. I'm not just moving along and trending. No, I'm actually enjoying the moment, taking out the things I don't like and building up the things I love.
And to add to that, you know, there's something I always say that, you know, whenever I have any issues, the issues are the issues. It's not you, it's not me, it's the issue. Whether noun.
Please, sir, give us an example.
It could be anything. So, for instance, the latest one, we go shopping together, which I don't like to do, and we're 3 hours in the mall, and then I'm upset. Why are we spending so much time here? And then, but you always have to take a step back it's not that she's here to waste your time. She just needs to get the perfect deal. So that's the issue. It's not her problem. It's the issue. The perfect deal for the family. You know, that had to happen time and time and time again, where, you know what, you just have to take a step back. There's nothing wrong with your spouse, and there's nothing wrong with you. The issue is the issue. Whenever it is you choose to address the issue, address the issue. Do not fight to win, fight to solve the battle, and then you go. And one of the things I always do is when things like that happen, you know, I start with sending a message. You know, just leave it there as it is. Then she'll go to work, then I'll send WhatsApp message. But you know that X, Y, Z, and then she will respond, and then I'll respond, and then she'll respond, and before we know it, things have gone, you know. But, you know, it can happen in any way. Sometimes, you know, it can be like a big deal. You know, nobody wants to back down. Egos have come in. I'm telling you. But after a while, you'll come back to see again that the issue is the issue. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't agree with me. I don't agree with you. It's fine. It's the issue.
Okay to disagree.
It's okay to disagree. We might eventually not even go either ways, you know, but let's preserve the marriage. Let's preserve the friendship. Let's preserve the home, and then deal with the issues when we can deal with the issues. Because that would always come, whether when you are driving. And I don't like her correcting me when I'm driving. It happens all the time, you know. But then you find out again that it's not that she doesn't think I'm a bad, she thinks I'm a bad driver. It's that she doesn't want us to both die. You know,
That's a good way of looking at it.
so you just have to, you know, balance things out and just preserve what it is that you have.
Excellent. You know, I mean, I'm taking notes because you see this driving part. I almost said, I almost said it. But, you know, and that's why I held myself. I said, I was just breathing in and breathing out. You know, but I want to ask specifically and directly, you know, yes, there are the issues, but you have ensured that those issues, number one, don't come between your friendship and they don't come between your marriage. And I see a lot of deliberate effort from both of you. You even started by giving her credit, and then you say, many times, as I always say, in other words, you form this thing. Why? Why don't you just want to go and chill with the boys? Why are you putting all of this deliberate effort in preserving friendship? See, there were days when our parents, their own parents told them, see your wife.
Yeah.
And they married. And they did 40-something years and all that. So why are we not maintaining that template that is seemingly there is longevity? Why are you putting all the effort in preserving friendship in marriage?
Okay, so for us, it would be, before we got married, right, we had already said to ourselves that, you know, Israel and I together forever. But that won't work. We have to be happy in this marriage, regardless of what happens. It's not enough to stay married for as long as you can and somebody's not happy. You know, we have to deliberately, you know, work at it. And I was telling her this morning that whilst we met, we had no common friends. We had no common interest except for artificial intelligence. We only met, I grew up in Ibadan, she grew up in Lagos. We only met in church. But, you know, when you then see what it is that you want or you like, you make a deliberate effort to work at it. You know, and something that had happened for a while in marriage was when the kids started coming. She wasn't around for much. She had gone on trainings here and there, so I grew up more with the kids, and it was like the kids were more into me than into her. Are more into me than her. And then, you know, it was like the attention was shifting. But I made it clear that the attention isn't shifting. X, Y, and Z has to be done, but it doesn't take your place or our place. So, for instance, like you said, you know, when there's an argument or something, go out, be on your own, chill with the boys or so. There's something we do again and again. Whatever it is we want to go and do out there, we bring it home. So, for instance, most Fridays we have game nights where we talk the kids in somewhere, play loud music, invite a few friends if you want to, and just be us, just enjoy each other's company instead of being upset and going out somewhere. And then it can be movie night, whether with the kids or with with each other. It can be just tucked in bed for as long as we possibly can, and it can be a getaway. And before we started getting away alone, it was a struggle. She was, where will you put my children? Where will you put my children? At some point, I'm like, I don't care. Put them anywhere. We were going, we're going out. So it's for me, you have to be deliberate about it. Whether it was an arranged marriage or you've been, even if you've been friends for donkey years and you're married, once you're married, it takes you doing things deliberately, purposefully to get the desired result, because the fact that you're married and you're both Christian doesn't guarantee that you have a blissful marriage.
And I also want to add that life as we know it now is very different from when our parents were going out. There's a lot of pressure, and you would not be wise if you disregard that pressure. Those days, marriage was, let's say, a respected institution. I mean, once you say you are married, you can just do like this, show your ring and everyone gets the message. But nowadays, if you like, you can wear 5 rings. Anyone who wants to go after you will still go after you, men and women alike. And we see it come up in many instances, in church, in the workplace. And if you don't derive joy from your home, you will get it somewhere else. And I think the people who are most affected are the people who feel they are strongest. So you can get to that point where you're no longer enjoying the marriage, but you don't really know it. But it will take someone from outside, to come and make you feel special. And then you now realize what exactly you're missing. I love this Tyler Perry's movie, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. And I feel people should, watch such movies that will challenge you when you feel you're strong. Because if you're here with your husband, everything is going on fine, you're enjoying it. But how would it be if you see something out there? And we always ask each other this question, or ask him, have you ever felt like you could have done better if you were not married to me? And he asks me also once in a while, and truly, I can't imagine that life. I was supposed to make a major decision about my life.
So you can say it.
You can say it.
I can't imagine life without him.
You can look into his eyes while saying it.
Yes.
I can't imagine life without him. So I took a major decision when I met him. I wanted to go for my master's outside of the country. I had got my admission with a scholarship and all. But when I met him, I knew he was the one at some point. And I decided to drop that, because at that point he had no plans to leave the country. And well, for me, the way I was brought up to know that I say the man leads the home, so it's not really a good precedence to get married to someone and they're like, let us go. If we are together, it's a different thing. But when you see someone who is clearly not ready to move, and then you're now taking the wheels and making the family move at the beginning, then it's not just the best. Not that it doesn't happen, but you could do with less friction at the beginning of marriage. So I said all of that to say this, that when you get into marriage, you have to first start something inside it that brings you joy, so that when you go outside,
and there's pressure,
which there would always be pressure. And sometimes it comes in the most subtle ways. Someone doesn't have to wink at you or make a pass. He just needs to be nice to you. He just needs to open the door for you. He just needs to ask about your welfare. He just needs to comment on your hair or your makeup. And you ask yourself, has anybody really asked me this question? But if every day I wake up as he does, he chooses my clothes. In fact, it was so bad that recently when I got something somebody that is very close to us said, this thing is lovely, but me, I know you will not go to market and buy this thing. She said, thank you, Ogadegule, for getting this. As in, she didn't know, but she knows that on a good day he will tell me. So he likes me to look a particular way, and he will tell me. And before, I used to, at the beginning of marriage, I was like, which one is this? Don't come and change me. But later, I realized that, okay, this is his life. This is what he wants. And he will tell me, wear this, do this, and all. So if I go out and somebody is commenting about the hair, is the hair another man bought? Or is the dress another man styled? So what are you talking about? So the comment is not for me, it's for the person who has done that. So those are the things that, will I say, build you up such that you're like in a pressurized container. You are impervious to any form of outward pressure.
So I would have loved to ask if there are times where you need to separate to be friends with others to build your friendship. But we would have that conversation when we come back. Covenant Marriages will be right back. Thank you for staying with us on Covenant Marriages. We are still talking about friendship in marriage. And before we went on our break, we were talking about how friends with others has strengthened your friendship in marriage.
But before we talk about that, I just wanted to emphasize or build up on a statement I had made previously about wanting to go for my master's, and then I met him. And it's just important to state that he didn't ask me. In fact, when I think I only told him about it after I had rejected the application. So it wasn't like he pressurized me, but I just thought that at that point in my life, being with this person was more important than going away and then thinking of how we'll meet or connect over 7 seas and 7 oceans. And also to say that after marriage, he has been tremendous in helping me achieve my dream. There's something he always says, or which he said at the beginning, and he keeps to reiterate, that I'm not afraid to let you fly. And he said it because, or he told me years after that, he looked at me and he saw that I wasn't going to be ordinary, and that's career-wise. And he made up his mind that he wasn't going to be afraid to let me fly. So he has allowed me, held the fort for me to go on several trainings, fellowships, certifications. I don't think I would have been able to get that opportunity with any other person. I dare say that. I mean, he's been supportive.
Eunice, let them just kiss and let's go.
Supportive and, sacrificial. And that's a good thing about marriage. So today, I can't even look back at that whole master's issue and feel there was anything I missed. So even if sometimes I wonder, this marriage, was it the best for me? If I look at everything I have been able to achieve and I look at what I dropped, it's like 1,000-fold reward.
Wow.
Wow.
I just felt I should say it.
Wow, thank you.
This is like we are forgetting our questions.
I did not forget.
The question on ground.
Yes. So how have friends strengthened your...
Especially because as men, we like our guys. We like, and so there's that pressure of my wife, my guys, how do they... And that times, once your wife doesn't agree with a guy, the guy can be your guy again. So all of that is what we'd like to hear in this question. Thank you.
Okay, so for us, it's been very interesting because I mentioned earlier that we didn't have mutual friends till we met. She had her friends and I had my friends. But without having a deliberate conversation around it, her friends are now my friends. And my friends, I don't have a lot of them, but my few friends are now her friends. It wasn't something we deliberately discussed And when I say friends, it means that if I'm going to count my friends, I'll count the ones I brought and the ones I inherited. And it's the same for her. It was so that even if you wanted to go and hang out with somebody else, it's just give me space, it will be the same, you know, from the same pool of friends. So, and it's now that I'm even thinking, it wasn't something we deliberately talked about or anything, but, you know, we just inherited, or we now have a pool of friends that we both can pull from.
And I have a theory, you know, which I always tell him, and it is about how you put your spouse in front of your friends. So my friends know that my husband is an integral part of me. So if I'm going to take a decision, it's not like I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, korikosun kind of thing. No, not that. But it's that this person is an integral part of her life, and you always have to consider his stance if she's going to do anything major. So I get somewhere and I'm like, hold on one minute. I just want to tell him that I've arrived there. I'm there. And it has become unconscious. So I think it's also the way you put your spouse in front of your friends. We're all human beings. So the moment you realize that this person is not just this person's significant other in word or in the marriage certificate, in reality, you begin to respect that person. So when you look at Degule, you see Ogo, because they are like coming in a pair, like Siamese twins. So, and that is what we have done. His friends, like we said, we didn't have any. In fact, it still marvels me, because I always felt I would get married to somebody that everybody knows, that they will bring refer. I was always afraid of marrying someone I don't know. And maybe God wanted to teach me a lesson that he's the ultimate planner of the universe. I felt that I'll have referrals, everybody will know the person, and you know, but it's marvelous that we have got to know each other's friends and true friends. So like if we want to draw up a list for my birthday or his birthday or some just individual, it will be the same set of maybe the only thing that will differ will be office people, because we are like in two different, but we would agree on the same set of people. And we always made up our minds that our business was our business. I can shout it to the moon and back that whatever happens in our house stays in our house. We don't discuss it, not with family, not with friends, not with anybody. And I think it was something we told ourselves, which we learned from marriage counseling, that you sort out your issues with yourself. And it has helped us, because I always reiterate that the relationship you have with your spouse is not the relationship that any other person has. So your spouse may do something to you that is really bad. I can say as in bad, under heaven. But because you are forgiving, just the way Jesus is with us, you can do something that is bad, but Jesus would forgive because the blood has covered.
True.
So in the marriage, there is a blood that covers your spouse.
Yes.
So if you relate those things to someone else, because that person does not have that covenant of that blood, the person will see it for face value. The first person will see, this thing is bad. How could he have said that? How would he have done that? But because there's a blood covering in marriage, you as a person, a carnal man, you know that this thing is wrong. But that marriage covenant covers it.
Wow.
And then people say, this person is blind, can't you see? But you're not blind. It is the blood of that marriage that is covering it. So that's the reason why you shouldn't take your marriage problems out. Because truly in marriage, it's not like your eyes are blinded, but truly your eyes are blinded at the things that other people will pick up on and
as
talk
offenses.
about as offenses. So you can't relate to those people who don't have those special glasses.
Hey!
That's deep. That's great wisdom. But just to strike a balance, when people have issues and need an external party to mediate.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's necessary to meet people who are approved counselors. And we have...
And share the same spiritual
and they share the same spiritual values. It's like we're all reading from the same book. We are being guided. So even as counselors, there are trainings for the counselors, and they are also taught how to handle relationships. And you're not going to get a counselor who is going to make you draw the daggers. They're going to help you. So the counselor is like to guide you and help you to introspect. Most of the time, and still do the work. Most of the time, I doubt that counselors will come in and tell you, do this, do this. But what they do is help you to bring out those things, those good things that you might have buried. Because a lot of times conflict is about bringing out the negative. But a lot of time, counseling sessions help you to bring out the positive, unearth those things. We talk about making deposits and withdrawals, and they help you to get into those deep deposits that you have made in terms of love, commitment, kindness, forgiveness, friendship. And that's what counselors do. So by all means, if you can't get to that deep core by yourselves, there are always approved people you can reach out to who will help you to achieve the same results.
Excellent. Eunice, you know what I noticed while she was speaking? She's the Igbo, but she's the one that said Korikosu.
She had to learn
Africa magic is working.
Seriously, what's my best Yoruba? Whenever anybody asks me something.
Oh, what comedy? Okay, so she always likes to say what comedy, as in, are you Yoruba? What comedy?
Interesting. You know, speaking of, language, we can't talk about language without talking about the source. And the source in this case will be the in-laws. So, you know, there are couples that they are so dear friends that they are fighting with their families by themselves when there's no fight. Right? And then there are people that they are so dear friends. They are so friends with one another that they are embracing of their families and accommodating and understanding. What's the case with you guys when it comes to your in-laws?
You know, the way you carry your spouse, whether it's in front of your friends or your family members, matters a lot. She's Igbo, I'm Yoruba. But at that point, we didn't have any issues because maybe for me, my immediate elder brother had married an Edo lady, and my mom was
open.
Already, not open, she was already like, you boys. And then I come home and then, say you again. But, you know, that was all she said. Said, and then, you know, but the way you carry your spouse in front of your family members matters a lot. It defines how they treat you. So we were so into each other that we're so into family. And like I said, you know, we shared common friends. I want to believe that if her mom has any important thing to talk about, she's calling me first.
Yes.
Before she heard. Yes.
Yes.
And whilst my mom was alive, if she had any important thing to talk about, she's calling her first. Some of our siblings are as close to me as they possibly can be. Yes. I have two emergency...
They call him Daddy Diggs.
I have two emergency contacts on my phone. One is her. The second is my brother-in-law. That's her younger sister's husband. So it's that kind of knit-together family. And it's something that, again, it wasn't deliberately talked about, but it's something that we fashioned out somehow, where her family is my family, you know. For instance, last time I was away with her younger brother, and we toured the whole world without even looking back. So he's 10 years younger than I am, but we're friends. He's my brother-in-law. We didn't even want to come back. And when we came back, we started planning for the next trip and all that. So it's...
So if my brother has to come, my brother can just show up at my door, and they have already planned. Maybe they can plan to want to watch a match together, and he will just show up and say, maybe with pizza, Daddy Diggs, and they look like they're expecting each other. And I'm wondering, where am I in this, relationship? And our families, they call him Daddy Diggs. He's like the go-to person. If anything happens, they call. And I would, let me not give myself credit, but also as a woman, or as a person in a relationship, you also have to have that freedom, and in as much as your friends, you should also let your spouse also be helpful to other people, be accommodating. Because even if something happens, to any of my siblings, they might tell him, he might have just gone out of his way to solve everything, and I might be hearing about it 2 or 3 weeks later.
Really?
So, because they have seen him as their brother. And I think one of the wonderful relationships that I have seen is between him and my younger sister's husband. They are like brothers. If you, as in their bond is very, very tight. And it happened because, you know, we let the family stay together. And even for his own family, I know his elder sister would call me and tell me about things. I had a wonderful relationship with his mom before she passed. And like I always say, it is about putting that best foot forward, letting your friends and your family see your spouse for who they are, that loving, caring person.
Wow. So friendship is possible in marriage.
Yes.
And it is you being intentional. You mentioned you had to travel for some time with your brother-in-law. Sometimes some people just say, I just need a little break from the other party. Does that strengthen your marriage sometimes if you decide to say, I just want to
It's fine.
take some time out, maybe to
Have me time.
have your me time?
So traveling with my brother-in-law wasn't, let's travel, let's go.
Okay.
It so happened that he was away when I was away, and we hooked up, and then we spent 2-3 weeks together.
Okay.
And I wasn't getting away from anything. I just needed to be away at that time. You know, I like to have me time, you know, just be in my head and all that. But I've learned over the years, I have my me time when she's not around. It's very unfair to her to have my me time when she wants to have us time.
Which I always want.
Which she always wants to have anyways. So why not have my me time when she's not around? I think sometimes I'm just getting out of it when she comes back from work, and the first 5 minutes is like, you didn't even hug, you didn't, I'm just coming out. And then we get to us time, because you can't be having me time when the other person wants to, you know, have a conversation, and like I'm still processing thoughts in my head, because that is also another ground for conflict. I'm talking, you're not even listening. So I'm hearing, I'm listening. No, you're not. She knows when you're not listening. I know when she's not listening. But it also does not mean that 24 hours of a day is spent with me. Well, she's allowed to hang out with her friends and other friends and all that. It's perfectly fine.
We always plan it because it's something we always have to talk about.
But it's fine. I mean, you can have other friends. I know, I approve of them. I know whoever it is you're hanging out with and all that. Getting out is not to go and cool off. It's just to go and relate with other people, as you know, as they form important part of our
And we are
lives.
human anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not my...
I think in that part I might, because he doesn't have many friends, so I think he's a bit lopsided, you know, in that regard. But I try to be very considerate.
The guys at Arsenal are my friends.
What?
The guys
So
at
at
Arsenal
Arsenal,
are my friends. So I watch a lot of football.
Which I have struggled, and
No, you have done well. You
I
have.
have, in fact, sometimes I'm proud of myself. Although I also forget, and I might have sold somebody 2 seasons ago. And I'll still be looking for him. But you just print and say, no, they've sold that one, they've sold that one.
Wow.
But it took a lot of effort. I literally had to write them down. I didn't even know that there were
The
players.
names of all the
I
Arsenal
didn't know
players.
there were players on the bench. So I would just be noting down. So by the time we come the next match, they've changed. And I'll be like, somebody is missing here. It was that bad. But I took, because before I got married, I heard this story from one of my home church. The lady talked about how she used to, she knew a lady whose husband loved football. And anytime he wants to watch football, the wife would turn off the TV. She'll say, we have to pray, or we have to do this. So finally, the man now, anytime it's time for football, he'll just say, I'm coming. Then he will go to his friend's house, and this friend happened to be a lady. So they'll go, and there was nothing going on, no, but they will now, even both of them will wear the top of the shirt of the team. and they'll be eating and drinking and say, oh, they scored, they'll even do like this. So after some time, she got upset and she said, okay, bring this friend to the house. So this man will now bring the female friend to the house. So when they now said, score, goal, husband will run to the friend, do like this, they even hit together again. At that point, she now decided that she needed to learn about this football. So the next time when she learned, when they score, she will run to her husband first, hit her husband. After some time, the other lady now started feeling like, it's like I'm not fitting into this viewing center again. And she moved on. So when I came into my marriage, my husband said, the likes were, I said, this football, we will not learn the hard way. We will learn it.
Interesting.
Well, she's done excellently well.
Thank you.
I remember
thank you.
on Friday, we were in the UK watching Arsenal, Southampton.
Oh, I thought it was Arsenal.
And she's my greatest comfort, you know.
Because there is joy in the home when Arsenal wins.
So what we've done is, so we have 2 kids.
Okay.
My son supports Man U, and my little daughter supports Liverpool. So at some point, every Saturday, somebody's going to be happy. It might be us, it might be either of them, but at some point, there's joy in the home, so it's balanced. At least one team will win.
Rejoice with those that rejoice.
You know, and then there'll be joy.
But we always hope it's our daddy that is happy.
It's very
Because many
important.
things can happen
from the joy
from an
that
Arsenal
emanates.
victory.
Interesting. I can't imagine what happened in your house when Arsenal lost 4-1 to Man City. Anyways, I mean, it has been fun here speaking to the Sokunbis on friendship and marriage. I mean, without answering yes or no, you can tell. In fact, you be the judge. Is it nice to have to be friends with your spouse, or just still leave because you are in a convenient arrangement called marriage? But since you are such great friends, I think you guys are the candidates that should kiss on camera. You are excited!
Because I was imagining the look on his face. That's why I was laughing.
It was captured in camera, the look on his face.
So what say ye?
Yes. Yes, it's a yes from me. Golden buzzer.
Please remove this straw pillow.
And then the other says, say yes, say yes.
Where are the children?
They are,
One, two. You will like me.
Oh, my wife.
Wow,
Okay.
thank you for being a
Thank
part
you.
of today's episode. You know, as predicted, we knew it was going to be chilled, and this is it. This is
Yes,
what
this was
friendship
chill. I mean, they kissed. Nothing can be chiller than that.
is. And we pray that God blesses your marriage and continuously make you happy and remain friends. And as a tradition on Covenant Marriages, we do like to gift our guests something when they come to our set for being a blessing to us.
Party pack.
Yes, party pack.
This picture says it.
Oh,
Who's
wow.
your guy? Hey! Not only you. Wow, live! See, as in day like 5 and 6.
Oh, I love this. Oh,
I'm fine, sir.
I'm beautiful.
Can you turn it around so that our viewers
Oh,
can see?
lovely. And this
This
was
is-
my pose.
I
Say
got
thank
your
you, Mommy.
back kind of pose, man. Lovely. Oh, you chose the
thank you.
pose.
I chose the pose. It
Lovely.
was the very last one we did.
Oh,
Awesome.
interesting.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This
We
goes
should
to
thank you.
the office.
The office.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
One person's office.
Yes.
Well,
one
maybe
person.
we'll alternate it.
Oh,
This
wow.
Okay. Thank you all so much.
I trust
No,
you,
no, no,
our
no.
friends, have enjoyed and been inspired by this episode of Covenant Marriages. We want to thank you for always being part of our episodes. And from me, thank you.
And from me, I'd like to thank the Sokunbis. I mean, from
welcome.
us, I'd like to thank you guys. I mean, this is a model marriage you guys have.
Thank God.
I think you should write a book. It would be nice.
So
And again, from me, as Eunice has said, thank you. And until we come your way next time, let your guy be your babe or your guy. See you later.